For anyone that's under a rock, Enes Kanter so far is the only free agent signing for the Celtics. He's coming back, folks. Whether you like it or not, Evan tweeting angrily that he can't do Kanter minutes anymore. Enes Kanter's coming back, and look, I'll say this much about Kanter. There are pros and cons. Obviously, the like great locker room guy, great person, great citizen. I think he obviously a great teammate. The Forsberg's podcast can come back now. Like, there are all sorts of positives to Enes Kanter coming back with the Celtics, and money is fine. Like, you can't scoff at the money of him getting the veterans minimum 2.7. You can look at the role and what role he'll play, and does this, is this the beginning of Al Horford getting, dealt away mid-season? Obviously, the lack of defensive ability. He's more of a, he can give you rebounds. He can give you some points off the bench. He can contribute. So it's like, it's not all bad. But the fact that it was Enes Kanter first, like that was Brad's first free agent signing, and it was the only thing so far. I tweeted out yesterday, like, this has to be the most unintentionally hilarious Celtics offseason that I can remember in I don't know how long.
Well, it's the only, and I think Kanter was the only former Celtic who hadn't been mentioned as coming back.
Yeah, right. Bradley,
in the previous week, it was that right.
Yeah,
that entire list.
Horford's already back.
It's an interesting center rotation with Al and Robert Williams. And let me put it this way: there were no 82-game guys on that list, so
nope.
That's going to be mix and match. It's a mix and match year. There are interesting players. My Max and I were talking about this yesterday, that the issue is that the Celtics, it's kind of funny the way it's going to work out, in that nothing as far as the content of the team and their success and where they fit really in the Eastern Conference right now, as we're talking again, August 5th, who knows? It's a long way away, even though we haven't even seen the schedule. One of the most absurd things at the NBA. One of the only areas where the NBA really, in my view, struggles and falls behind the other entities is every year I find it hysterical that we get the Major League Baseball schedule for next year before we get, like, we know where the Red Sox are playing in September of 22 before we know where the Celtics are playing in October. 2 months from now, which is always held because of the free agencies, and TV wants every little piece that they can get of good matchups and things like that. But it really is, it's like, guys, we're training camp's opening next month and we don't have a schedule. It is kind of silly. But the one thing that's going to go away this year is the artificially high expectations, which were a big issue last year. And so suddenly the Celtics are almost backing their way into a potential position of being underappreciated and completely dismissed. And no idea is anybody right now, as we're talking August 5th, is anybody talking about or looking at the Celtics, and I'm not saying they will be, as a team that's going to avoid the play-in in the Eastern Conference?
Because I think it's possible.
Right. I don't, it's possible. But here's the thing of what happens now with the free agents. Every new player that goes to a team, you say, oh, man, I like that guy. I've seen highlights of that guy. You're not watching him every single game. Marcus Smart is probably the perfect example where people say they know all the things, the downside that comes with Marcus Smart, and you sort of dismiss the upside with the players you have because you're looking over the wall. Oh, I know that name. That guy went there. That guy went there. Oh, the Lakers got this guy and whatever. And a perfect example, I could turn out to be completely wrong, but I'm curious how the new look, high sex appeal Chicago Bulls are going to stop anybody from scoring. Like, just as an example, that's an example of a team where you say, oh my God, Chicago added this guy and this guy and this guy. They're going to be great. They're going to win 50 player, top 4 team in the East. Are they? We don't. The other element about the season coming up, and this is just something to say August 5th, so you can run this back later on YouTube. And didn't Grande say that? He always says this stuff like 4 months at a time, and it sounds crazy. And then, it turns out to be kind of right. The other thing as the NBA that I think we have dropped the ball on here is the quick turnaround to this season, and how last year, we know what a disaster it was as far as guys getting hurt. There was no turnaround time. We rushed to start the season at historical proportions, and we had an 8-week offseason from the end of the finals to the start of the crazy year. This year's only 9 weeks. There's virtually no difference between the very small off seasons. And I get the idea of wanting to be back on track. I'm not signed off on the idea of starting October 9th. To me, why not start November 1st, or you get closer to getting back on track? Now everybody's rushing right back in. I think the teams that had long playoff runs, which obviously did not include the Celtics, are going to be, again, at a disadvantage. And I think there are, potential for more injuries and more the unpredictable nature of the regular season.
Hi guys, Cedric Maxwell here. I want to take a minute to tell you about Marigold Medical. I'm used to keeping my body in great shape, but with arthritis, even the most simple everyday tasks became unbearable. As soon as I called Marigold Medical, I knew I was in good hands. No drugs, no surgery, just an experienced team of caring professionals that wanted to get me back to doing the things I love. Make the call to Marigold Medical and get back to pain-free life.